I titled today's devotion, If Today Was Your Last. And we are on day 286, and we're on October the 13th. And today's morning rinse is Psalms 37 through 39. And the featured verse today is Psalm 39:5. Behold, you have made my days as handbreadths, and my lifetime as nothing in your sight. Surely every man at his best is a mere breath. Some of today's morning rinse, if you are reading along on all of the passages, and if you've read Psalms 37 through 39 today, you'll know that today's morning rinse breathed heaviness and sorrow from David's heart for the sins that he had committed. He wrote about the pain that he felt, his confession for what he had done, and he wrote about the anxiety that he felt from his choices. And you can read that in Psalms 38:18. David knew the grief that sin causes. And he also knew that we have limited time on this earth to make it right when we sin. And his hope in God is undeniable, and his passion for running after him, despite all of the things that he did wrong, his hope is contagious. I mean, I've mentioned this so many times on this podcast, and I will say it again, that we all fail at times. We all sin. We all fall short. And some of those failures and wrong choices are going to weigh heavier on our hearts than others, and we will all have to face the consequences for those choices. And David understood this, and yet he also knew the freedom of God's grace and forgiveness. In my opinion, he nailed it when he wrote today's featured verse describing our limited time on this earth. Our time to make an impact is temporary. And in the grand heavenly scene, we are here on this earth in the same amount of time needed to take a breath. And what would we do differently if we knew today was our last day to live? Would we humble ourselves and ask forgiveness for the things that we've done wrong, or bad attitudes that we've had, or something that we just didn't make the right choice about? Would we make one last plea to a loved one to live for God? What would we want our final conversation or last memory to be with those who are around us? Would it be a memory of anger, gossip, frustration, bitterness? Or would it be a last memory full of love, grace, and encouragement? We are not promised a future breath. And David helps us understand this thought as he writes these things. If we all truly caught the depth of this truth in our hearts, I believe that we would change how we live our lives moment by moment with the world around us. I believe that we would take this passage so much more serious, and our actions every day so much more serious as we impact the world around us. So today's challenge to dig deeper is to ask yourself today, if I passed right now, today, is there anything in my life that is out of order that I do not want to leave my family with to clean up? Living a life with a clean heart sometimes means putting tangible things in order as well. And it could be as simple as, making sure that your loved ones know how to carry on your business or close down your business. I'm speaking to myself as well. There are some things about this specific subject that I need to finish and do for my family and loved ones. But if you were to pass today, is there anything in your life that is out of order? a bad attitude, tangible things that might need to be put in order? Do you need to go to somebody and ask forgiveness? What was the last memory that everyone around you has about you? That can be such a humbling question. And yet that's your challenge for today. As you are reflecting and writing down in your journal and having your evening reflection, I realize that today's devotion may not necessarily have been a feel-good devotion, but it's a devotion that we, must all realize the truth and the reality of it all. And when we take a step back and ask ourselves those types of questions, how did it make you feel? Was there anything that you need to do to put your life in order for the day when you cross into the other side, which is heaven? And knowing that, if there's anything that you need to do, then write it down and make a plan to complete that thing, whatever that thing is, or things, whatever they are, and of course, I love the book of Psalms, and I love how David, talked and spoke and sang, and his heart for worship. And I think that, we sometimes forget about the tangible things or the heart things that we, affect other people with. And if we look at this verse and know that surely every man at his best is a mere breath, it just gives a different perspective. We are only on this earth for a short amount of time in the eternal grand scheme of things. And I want to make sure that every day makes a difference. I want to make sure that my small footprint or fingerprint, or however you want to say that, on this earth, on this side of heaven, makes at least some kind of impact for other people in their world. And the grand scheme of things is we are not here very long. And the choices that we make can affect other people's lives so much. We feel today in the Psalms, most of it, the heaviness and sorrow that David's heart had for those sins. And he wrote about how it hurt him and the things that he had to confess to and the anxiety that he felt with the choices that he made. But the good thing is that there's always hope. There's always hope. His hope is contagious, like I mentioned. It's contagious. And knowing that, and knowing that we all make mistakes, we can follow after David's undeniable passion for running after God. And we can follow after that no matter what consequences that we face. We can follow after David's way of living and how he recovers from his failures. Even though, we don't want to make the mistakes that David made, of course, but we see that if he made these mistakes, there's a high chance that other people will make those same mistakes. And it's so great to, just like past guests have said, like Haley mentioned it a couple days ago, that David is very relatable. And, we read how he grieved in his mistakes in some of the morning rinse today. So I hope that you can look at David's life and feel the passion that he had, and to feel, his humility, and to feel the confessions that he has made, and to know that we too can walk through hard times, and we can, get on the other side of our mistakes and realize that, we have just this one life to live. And if we were to pass today, what would be the last memory that your family had of you. And I hope that their last memory of you is a good one. I hope the last memory that my family sees of me is a good one. And I hope that today inspired you and encouraged you not to face the mistakes that we make or the challenges that we face that we have been a part of, but to realize that, or not to bring it up really, but to face them and with a repentant heart, make it right. And I think that once we have that hope like David did and can make things right, we too can make small changes to where that if today was our last day, then we can make right choices, right? And we can have a clean heart and even have tangible things put in order for our family. And so I know I have homework to do, and I hope that you guys take on this challenge. And, if there's anything out of order, to make it a part of your mission to get things in order, because we are but a mere breath in the whole grand scheme of eternity when it comes to our lives. And so I love David, and I love the hope that he has and the contagious, passion that he has for God. And I love being able to talk about that. And again, while this devotion today was not necessarily a feel-good devotion, it is a true reality, and that, it's something that we should all strive to do, is just to keep living our lives knowing that we are on this earth as a mere breath from the eternity standpoint. And there are things that we can do, attitudes that we can adjust, tangible things that we can do for our family to be in order. And today is that day, and to remember that we have hope for the future, and we have, we have a loving God who's helping us make all these things. And continue to read the book of Psalms as we walk through it, and making what David went through applicable for our lives today. And if you don't have my devotional, the link is in the show notes. And if you don't have your own journal, I also have a companion journal that links right to the devotional that I wrote. And, if you need a devotional and you want to have it linked to exactly the day of what you're writing in, then go ahead and pick up that devotional as well. Or you can write, or the journal, or you can write, your notes right into the devotional. There's some space at the bottom of most of the pages. And so go ahead and pick one up. And of course, Christmas is coming, and I look forward to hearing more stories of how you guys have been impacted. And I know that you have impacted my life just by the encouraging messages that you send to me. So be sure and keep sending them, because they definitely keep me encouraged as well. Until tomorrow, keep rinsing, reflecting, and repeating. God bless you.